Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to title this video, Did Emperor Nero sign off on the deaths of Peter and John? As you can see, I put it right here, but it says all four, but I corrected it. I didn't want to change it up because I might get some different information. So anyway, you notice I said Emperor Nero, which is Trump. You got a picture right here. If that guy Nero, this is supposed to be a bust. Well, this is a bust of Nero. That's Trump's twin brother, right there. Sometimes in reincarnation, you come back, the spirit comes back, and it comes back in a different looking body. Sometimes you come back looking like you were in a previous life. So Nero, matter of fact, let me do this. Bear with me for a minute. Let me try this. Nero and Trump, one and the same. That's not what I want. Emperor Nero and President Trump, one in this. Come on, man. Emperor Nero and President Trump. One and the same. What Donald Trump and Roman Emperor Nero have in common. Let me interestingly, the proportion of Nero's clique, whatever that is, 5,000 cliquers for a crown of 50,000, blah, 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 and the same as President Trump. Well, let me open this up. Bring your own applause. What Donald Trump and Roman Emperor Nero have in common. Yeah, Nero was, as he got older, he got heavier. Look at that. That's Trump in a toga. And a rosemary leaf around his head, which they got from the Etruscans. Let me just read through this. I don't know what they're gonna say, but I've been saying here. It started with me, myself, the Apostle Tahar. I said Trump is Nero. Trump is Nero. Trump is Nero. If Trump and Nero are two different people, you know what I mean by that. I'll be a monkey's uncle. It says one of the first, on his first day in office, President. Okay, this is from what date? Okay, this is the first term. President Trump's speech at CIA headquarters went over big applause and friendly laughter. I want to get to the point. Room, blah, 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 blah. Okay. How did he pull off? The answer lies in a country-old showmanship technique that has been used by entertainers and politicians since the Roman Empire. President Trump brought along a, let me look this word up, I'm sorry. Okay, good. Clique. Wow, that's something. It's something. Let me read this again. You can read the whole thing. I'm not jumping through. How did he, in other words, when he became president, how did he pull it off? Because you got the cheering. You notice when he does his speeches, the last time he campaigned, which was some months back, in the background you had people with, they all had the MAGA hats on, or signs, MAGA, So it says, how did he, Nero, how did any president or entertainer or politician, Kamala Harris did this. Every presidential nominee candidate does it. They'll have a crowd, and these people are set up like you have delegations, right? It says, how did he pull it off? It said the answer lies in a century-old showmanship because what presidents do, they got the nice suit and tie on, they got the nice haircut, they look a certain way. If you had like a guy running for president, this guy is known as a smart, he's a genius, he's the best candidate for president, but he's like 400 pounds, he's got a beard, he's bald-headed, and he's got the horseshoe effect. He's wearing glasses, he stutters, but when you listen, they're not going to vote for him. What's this guy, Christie from Jersey? I said, no, he'll never become president because he's too fat. And nobody's gonna vote for a morbidly obese president because it shows when you're super fat, you might have a couple of pounds on you, but when you're morbidly obese, the people look at it as you're not disciplined. You just eat. You're not disciplined, man. And some of us, are fatter than others because we're not balanced. And something happened to you in your life, a series of things happened to you where you took food, and food was a drug. Food is a drug. You can be addicted to food. I'm not on drugs. Yes, you're on food. You eat too much food, too much sugars, which is a drug. You can get addicted to liquor, sugar, food, drugs, all kind of things. President Trump brought along a clique, that is a group of hired cheerleaders whose job is to spark enthusiasm and get the applause rolling, a sort of living, breathing laugh track. Right. When you have these sitcoms, they have a laugh track. You know why they have it? Because a lot of you people that watch these sitcoms are dumb, and they'll tell a joke on a sitcom and it goes over your head. So they have the laugh track laugh so you can laugh with them. Oh, that was a joke. Oh, that was a joke. So, you know what? Let me see. And look at him. He wears oversized suits to make him look skinnier, but he's fat. He's somewhat obese. Not when he was young. And that tell me that's not Trump. So let's come on back. What Donald Trump and Roman Emperor Nero have in common, they both use a clique. He's the greatest thing in the world. I don't know why you can't see it. Are there any valid comparison between Donald Trump. I'm not going to read all of this. Okay. Well, both are irresponsible and autocratic. One was an emperor, the other one is currently the president. I remember this was some years ago when Trump was first president. The elder out of the head of Chicago, Malcolm, he said, I forget exactly how he worded it. He said he might be Nero. Then I said no. I said that is Nero. That is Nero. That was some years ago. I don't know if he remembers that. I just said this guy's Nero. Is Trump the new Nero? Now if he's the new Nero, then Israelites are in trouble. Because the emperor that hated the Israelites or the Christians the most was Nero. They all hated us, but Nero had a special kind of hate. He wanted to utterly destroy the Israelites, and he's doing it with the Northern Kingdom tribes. He don't care. He don't care about them. Just throw them back in their country, lock them up. It says, when I'm trying to compare Roman emperors to Donald Trump, the first one that springs to mind is Nero, who fiddled while Rome burned. And Rome is burning all over again, economically burning. And he's playing golf. And he didn't play a fiddle, he played a lyre, which is a stringed instrument. Okay, Washington Post. This was Post 2020. Wait, and this is from when his first term as president. So they're saying this guy is just like Nero. Anyway, wait. So who is Nero, and why are people comparing him to Trump? Reincarnation is real, y'all. Okay, let me give you a couple more. Trump is Nero while Washington burns. And this is a month ago. When did Rome, the new Rome, started burning? When he declared them tariffs. They're talking about the shelves are going to be empty. It behooves you to go out now and get stuff for the long haul. But ultimately trust in the Yahweh B'Shem Haushai. MSN, Trump compared to Emperor Nero for fiddling while Rome, because this country is economically on fire. And who set that fire? Trump. There's a term, backfired. China refuses to capitulate, so this plan of his, this grandiose plan, backfired on him. Trump fiddles while America burns, economically burns. As a classicist is ask a classicist, is Trump more of a Caligula, because he was a mean bastard? Nero is a possibly, I can hardly read this. Let me outline this. This is in his first term, right? This was 2 years into his first term. Nero is possibly like Trump. He adored performing. I can hardly see this, bear with me, y'all. In this case, in the gladiatorial arena, the reality TV, Anyway, he's the only. Let me do this. Who is the only president in history that attend UFC events? Who is the only president in history to attend UFC events? And the last one, not even a month ago, he was at the event. So he'd been to more than one. Donald Trump, is the only U.S. president known to have attended UFC events while he was president. He has been a longtime fan of the sport and has attended several UFC fights, including one in New York. And we was out there speaking. I believe we was down there. We was down there. Yep, we was down there when they had that event. It was Conor McGregor. It says, and another in Miami, 2025. Right, this is the last one that he went to. He also brought Dana White, the UFC president, on stage during his victory speech on election night in 2024. That was November. So the UFC is nothing but gladiatorial event. Let me do this. Did Nero Caesar attend gladiatorial events? Yes, it is known that Nero. Let me change this. Did Nero, let me just put in Nero. Okay, let me click on it. Yes, Nero attended gladiatorial events, which is today, bringing up to date the UFC events, MMA events. While he is known for his other interests and performances, he was also a spectator at these spectacles. In fact, one source says that he attended games in person, and he even added musical games to some events, which were unusual at the time, because it was entertaining to him. He's a big kid. That's all the guy is, a big, overgrown, old-ass kid. And he doesn't listen to nobody. If you criticize him, even if you're in the right, you get fired. And like I said, I said it many years. I said, that's Nero. Man, that's definitely. I know he could be Caesar, he could be Jew. No, he's Nero. Let me see. Let me come back over here. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me do this one. Okay, I'm going to come back over here. Okay, did Emperor Nero Caesar sign off on the death of Peter and Paul? Yes, according to... So he said, kill them two N-words. They were the top Christians. They were top Peter, Paul. Yes, according to traditional accounts and many historians, Emperor Nero was responsible for the deaths of both Peter and Paul. Now you got Alex Jones giving these great accolades about Trump. Oh, Trump! I said maybe you're an insider with him, or maybe you just don't see it. He's just getting started. He's just getting started. They were executed as part of a larger persecution of Christians. Christians are Israelites that believe in Yahushua, as opposed to Israelites that didn't believe in Yahushua. Israelites that didn't believe the Messiah came. So they were actually called Mashayak Yah. Or if you were a Christian, you would call it Mashayak Yah, meaning you're a Messiahite. Or Christians would be Mashayak Yum. You are followers of the Messiah. And it was for people that didn't like the so-called Christians to call them that. That was in Acts 11 and 26. So you got these people talking about they're Christian. No, you're not Christians. First of all, you got to qualify to be a Christian. First of all, you got to be an Israelite, and then you got to believe And the black Messiah, as Nate would use, IUIC, which is not black, he's brown. It says Christians following, they were executed as part of a larger persecution of Christians or Israelites following the great fire of Rome. The Rome is on fire all over again. The new Rome is on fire. They're on economic fire. In 64 CE, Nero blamed the Israelites for the fire and used them as scapegoats for his own actions, leading to the execution of many, including Peter and Paul. So they just said, we're just going to get all of them, we're going to get the leaders first. So he got to be the last president. Okay, here's a more detailed explanation. The Great Fire of Rome, where scholars say that he started it and he was in his home 30 miles away, and said, "No, I was at home." Yeah. A devastating fire. This guy, Trump, he would be a good, like a DC, Marvel a character, like a bad guy. He has superpowers and he wears a suit. He's a cartoon. And I'm not saying it to snap on him. I'm just saying it because you look at this guy. He's a cartoon character, and people like cartoon characters. You want to see two clips from two movies that are funny as hell? Go to the movie. What's the name of the movie? Bananas. This movie was starring and directed by Woody Allen, and I saw the whole movie years ago. It came out in the 70s. The name of the movie is Bananas. Woody Allen, and go to the presidential speech scene, and you will crack up. Bananas go. The word bananas go back to the word banana republic, meaning you have these presidents in South America. They call them banana republics because the thing in South America is bananas and other things. But bananas is big, like in Jamaican. So they call the presidents banana. This is a banana republic. So watch that scene, and then from there, go to YouTube and put in, what is the name of it? What the hell is the name of the movie? Idiocracy. It came out in 2005, 2006. And I got to see the whole movie. You can see scenes of it. In the movie, Idiocracy, go Idiocracy, put in President, what's his name? President Camacho. That's the black Trump. Idiocracy, the movie. The scene, put in President Camacho. President Camacho. And that's Trump, a black Trump on steroids. Then you had another movie with this guy. They had the president, but he's like stupid as hell. What was the movie? Apostle Gabar knows the movie because he mentioned it. Damn. It was like a takeoff, like a play on the Navy SEALs movie. Anyway. Okay. Neronian persecution, meaning Nero's persecution. Nero used the fire as an excuse to persecute Christians. He said, you know what? I'm gonna set, the scholars say this, not me. I'm gonna set a fire. I'm gonna blame it on you because these motherfuckers are a pain in the ass. My father or my stepfather, scholars say he's a father, Claudius, he kicked them out, but they were still there raising hell. He said, I'm gonna get rid of them once and for all. I'm gonna set this fire. I'm just saying what history, some scholars say. Others say no, he didn't. That wasn't him. He wasn't there. He was 30 miles away. You know. So the story goes, depending on which scholar you want to follow, I'm gonna set a fire, and there's gonna be a major fire, and I'm gonna blame it on these people so I can get rid of them once and for all, and I can kill the leaders. Let me read that again. So this is a period called the Neronian persecution. Nero used, and Nero's back again. I'm not saying I believe he might, no, that nigga Nero. Nero used the fire as an excuse to persecute Christians, not prosecute, but persecute. Prosecute meaning they got to go through, what's the term, damn. What is it when you go to the court? I can't. My memory fails me on that. It'll come back. Damn. What is it? Process. Due process. Due process is to prosecute, right? Due process of law. He's just persecuting them. He said, "Fuck due process." It's leading to the widespread arrests and executions. What is he doing now? He got ICE going from door to door. If you can speak fluent fucking English, and you look like a Mexican or one of the Latin tribes, they're gonna grab you up. They grabbed up a couple of Jakes too. Got this one guy that they grabbed up, and he was legally in the system, and he said nope, and they showed his hand and it had MS-13, and what they found out was this one newscaster was interviewing Trump. He said the guy had MS-13 on his hand. You can't see the picture. So they looked it up and they realized that was Photoshop. That he don't have MS-13 on his thing. So Trump, child that he is, no. You look at the picture. Look at the picture. He has MS-13. He's a member of the MS-13. And then the newscaster is saying, the interviewer is saying, no, it's Photoshopped. We broke it down. It's Photoshopped. They added it in there after the facts. So we out this bitch. Because he's talking about a third term. Ain't gonna be no all hell's gonna be. First of all, this place is done. This motherfucking place is done. Keep your eyes on the shelves in the next 2-3 weeks. We talking about maybe the end last week to the first week of June. Let's see what's gonna happen. He's doing what he wants to do. Because he's sitting as an emperor. He's not sitting as a president. Okay, so execution of Peter and Paul. Let's read that. And I'm going to give you a precept in St. John, I believe. Yes, St. John, for sure. St. John, where Yahushua told Peter he was going to be executed by the Romans. But he didn't say Romans. Okay, execution of Peter and Paul. Tradition holds that Peter was crucified upside down because he requested it. I'm going to read another information that historian said that he tried to run. He said, nah, man, they ain't killing me. And he ran. That's extra biblical history, right? And he saw a vision of Yahushua. I believe he was on the Appian Way. I don't know. I don't know if he was in Rome. I got to go back. I hadn't read this in a while. But he was on this road, this highway, particular highway. And he saw Yahushua. He knew Yahushua. He came up with Yahushua. He saw Yahushua. He said, Lord, what are you doing here? And Yahushua told him, according to this thing that historians say it happened. I'm not saying it actually happened. And our Lord said, I'm going to Rome. I'm going to have them execute me again. And then he put his head down. Peter put his head down. And he knew he was supposed to, take it. He's supposed to be, So he turned around. Then he walked back to give himself up. And then Yahushua disappeared. So whether it was an actual vision or not, but historians say, and you know us here at GMS, we go deep. How many Christians know about that story? How many pastors have you ever watched going to that story? They don't really go deep. And Paul was beheaded as part of this persecution. The reason why Paul was beheaded and not crucified, because the worst death you can get is to be crucified. You died a slow, agonizing death. Your head being chopped off, being beheaded is a quick death. So So they said we can't crucify Paul because he's a Roman citizen. He's a Roman citizen. Peter, on the other hand, was not a Roman citizen. He was a person under the authority of the Roman Empire. The Palestine was or Israel was just a province, but he did not have Roman citizenship. Like you got up here in America, the New Rome. You got all kind of people that are not citizens. They might have work status papers, or they might be working towards being a citizen. So citizens in America get a higher standard of protection over people that are not citizens, right? Okay, motivation. While Nero's actions were likely fueled by a desire to shift blame and quell public unrest, some scholars believe he also had a personal animosity towards Israelites. That word should be Israelites. So he gonna make a speech. We gotta do something about these Israelites. Maybe we can send them to Guantanamo Bay. What does Revelation 2:10 say? Historical accounts. While some historical accounts portray Nero as having a deeper motive for persecuting Israelites, most historians agree that the persecution was primarily a way for him to deflect blame from the fire. They had to blame it on somebody. So let me show you that Yahushua told Peter he was going to be taken by force to be put to death by the Roman authorities. I'm reading verbatim. Did Jesus tell Peter he's going to die by the hands of the Romans? Yes, Yahushua did prophesy about Peter's death, indicating it would be a form of martyrdom, possibly crucifixion by the Roman authorities in St. John 21:18 and 19. Now I'm going to go to it and I'll come back to this. Them Christians say, one thing about them Israelites, they know them scriptures. Well, guess what? As a Christian, you're supposed to know the scriptures as well. Scripture says, Paul, was it Apostle Paul? Study to show thyself approved, a workman needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Anytime you Christians roll up on us, you get shamed. Then you tell yourself, no, we beat him. Well, anyway, here we go. St. John 21:18. How many of y'all knew about this? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, when thou, he's taught, this is Yahushua. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me go to the red letter. Red letter. Let me come up a verse above that. Now he said, I got to read the, wow. Should read it from the top. St. John 21:16. He saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? And he said, Yeah, Lord, or Kyries, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He said, Feed my sheep, which are the Israelites, which are elect. Then he says here, Feed my lambs. So the elect can be called lambs. They can be called a sheep. He said unto them, Simon, lovest thou me more? The third time, lovest thou me? And he said, he got, irritated. Yeah, well, why you keep asking me that question? He said, Feed my sheep. All sheep and lambs are part of a flock. So the flock are the Israelites, starting with the elect. So he said, now there's a what is it? This is in psychology. If you say something 3 times, the first time you say it, it opens up the mind. The second time you say it, You put the thought in the person's mind. The third time you say it, it locks the mind. So you say it 3 times. People like a kid. If you do it again, I'm gonna whip your ass. If you do it again, I'm gonna whip your ass. Boy, if you do it one more time, then he get his ass whipped. Because you know that you're doing wickedness, as not listening to your parents. It says, so now Yahushua says, okay, now I'm gonna lay this on him. That's old school. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, when thou wast young, thou girdeth thyself and walketh whither thou wouldest. He's talking to Peter. But now you put on your clothes. You wanted to walk over here. You want to do this. You want to take your wife, walking with your wife, or whatever the case may be. He said, but when thou shalt be old, because he was up in age. This was 60, 64, 65. Because Nero died in 68, I believe, if not 67, 68. So this had to be the fire. The Roman fire took place in 65 AD, if I'm not mistaken. I did read that. So we're talking 66. And now you can look it up. Matter of fact, somebody look it up. What year did Peter and Paul get crucified or put to death? So he had to be in his 60s, right? Thou shalt stretch forth thy hands, and another shall gird thee. Who's going to gird thee? The Roman authorities are going to arrest you and carry thee whither thou wouldest not. You didn't want to be carried to be put to death. And Paul, he just took it. When he was sentenced, and he said, okay, this is the day. Just like they sentence you now, and they'll say, okay, we found you guilty. The jury found you guilty. And then they'll give you a sentencing date. It might be 3 months away, so you can get your house in order. In 3 months, and that's what they did to Paul. They said, Paul, we sentence you to death under the authority of the Roman Empire, Nero being the emperor, and you will be put to death 3 months from now. So you know what he did? And I'm gonna read it. He went to the brothers that work with him, and he told them, what you got to keep pushing his faith. That's what he said, be in season, out of season. That's a matter of fact, you know what? I thought I had it up. I'll bring it up again, no big deal. It says that the Romans are going to gird you, arrest you, and carry thee whither thou wouldest not. This spake he, signifying by what death he should glorify the Most High. And when he had spoken this, he said unto him, follow me. Then Peter turned. So right here, the Lord said, the Romans are going to put you to death. When you old, they're going to put you to death. You're not going to die of natural causes. So now let me come over here to Apostle Paul. Took it a different way. He said, oh, okay, I'll get put to death, no big deal. Put my ass to death. I'm sorry, Second Timothy 4. So right here, the Apostle Paul was already sentenced to death. Because he speaks about it. That's why he said, preach the word. He charges them, okay, I'm going to die, so you got to keep teaching. If it's winter time, you got to teach. In the summertime, you got to teach. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. I was talking about then, and it's more so talking about now. But after their own lusts, so they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. Like you got Nate teaching that there's an eternal hell. Oh, he said in this thing when he went back and forth with Ron Dalton, he said that God is going to come and attack us after 1,000 years. But then he added a new scripture to it. And does he not realize that we're watching everything that you do, bro? He said, go to Revelation 20, and 7 on down. Then go to Ezekiel chapter 38. And because Ron Dalton brought it up. And so he said, I'm going to break it down the right way for you. He's talking about Nate. And then he went to Isaiah chapter 24. The last couple of verses where it speaks about the prison you be put in the pit. And he said, that's them Gogites. They're going to be in that pit and they're going to escape out of that pit and they're going to come attack us. And he said that pit, by the way, is in the Caucasus Mountains. I believe he said it was the Caucasus Mountains. So he just makes shit up. He just makes shit up. Isaiah chapter 24 has nothing to do with Ezekiel chapter 38. Neither does it have anything to do with Revelation 20 verse 7 on down. Ezekiel 38 and Revelation 20 verse 7 on down are the same, talk about the same thing. Isaiah 24 is talking about something completely different. Them being in that pit is us putting them in that pit and giving them work assignments. Because they're going to be, all these nations going to be slaves under us. So anyway, let me come down here. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make foolproof for thy ministry. Paul is telling him, giving a pep talk, I'm going to die, so you got to take my place. You got to, the way I taught, you got to teach. Give diligence, right? And this is what we did. The scriptures say, they have, and others have entered into your labor. This ultimately the 7 entered into the labor of Elijah, which was Abba Bibbins. I got to say it right for vocab get mad at me. And then the 7 are not really teaching. You got Lahab, he got a YouTube page that he started about in 2009, I think. But he goes off because he says Edomites and other nations could make it. So none of the 7 are out there in the action of teaching this truth. So we had to come along, right? And they shall enter into your work. We entered into their work. It says, for I am now ready to be offered, meaning he was already sentenced by the Roman authorities to be put to death. And the time of my departure is at hand. Now, there's a historical accounts where he was living in an apartment and he was under house arrest. And the saints would come and make food for him and give him food. So he was eating during that time. And then when it was time for him to, be executed, he said, yeah, okay, I'm ready to be executed. Peter had a problem with it, according to extra biblical sources, right? It said, I have fought a good fight. What fight did he fight? Did that mean he got in the street fight and locked a lot of niggas? No. The fight is a spiritual fight. I have finished my course. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. So Paul finished his course. But guess what? He had to come back and do it all over again. It says, I have kept the faith. He didn't fall off. He didn't turn his back on the plow. He was diligent, that you all give the same diligence. That's what diligence, right? Give diligence to make that call and election sure. Earnest, the word earnest comes out when you look up the word diligence. So the Apostle Paul was definitely diligent. He endured to the end. It says, henceforth there is laid up for me a crown. When is he gonna get that? Did he ever get the crown? Never got the crown. He's gonna get the crown when this man is taken down. He's gonna get the crown when this man is taken down. Of righteousness, which the Kairos, my superior, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. What day? That's second Ezra, chapter 2. You can start at the 40th verse. There was a man among them taller than the rest, and he gave out crowns. So Paul was there. Paul was there. Peter was there. Luke was there. Matthew, Mark, Jeremiah was there. Abraham was there. Moses was there. And we are those people. We don't know exactly I don't know who I am. You don't know who you are. But the men that's going to be there at the ceremony of getting crowned, if we endure to the end, We're going to get that crown. And we were those people back there when we were. So you're going to realize, oh, brother, you was Jeremiah. Oh, you was Ezekiel. Oh, brother, you said, hang on, man. I remember that's something told me you might be Ezekiel. You was Ezekiel, brother. Well, you're Obadiah. Oh, yeah, wow. So it says, and that's reincarnation, something that the Christians don't understand because the Lord is not dealing with them. It said, henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which Yahweh, or Kyries, my Lord, my superior, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. Now we're coming to that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearings. Now, when you make a statement, oh, we could be here for another 1,000 years, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Al-Azhar. We jumped on him, and he got mad. He got mad. And then he turned around and said, you know where I got that from? You guys. Tahar, you talk. When did I ever say that? I never said that, bro. That was about 3 weeks to a month after that all this mess came out, man. And we jumped on you. At first, I didn't pay it no mind. I said, no. I got to say something about that. So if you're saying we could be here for another 1,000 years, that means you don't love his appearance. You like being down here. You must be doing good. I ain't doing good. It says, personal concerns, do thy diligence to come shortly unto me. For Demas have forsaken me. Because like you got guys that fall off, turn their back on the plow. Paul had the same problem. Having loved this present world, and is departed unto Thessalonica, Crescens unto Galatia, because he loved the world, Titus unto Dalmatia. Only Luke is with me. Take Mark and bring him with thee, for he is profitable to me for the ministry. And the ministry is basically easy. All you got to do, you don't got to take a quill out. And back then, I believe they had I don't got to take out a quill. The only nigga I know that got a quill is Nate. The only nigga I know on the planet Earth at this point in time, 2025, is a nigga. He got a quill. A quill is a pen with a feather on it that you got to dip it in the ink. Well, we don't got to do all that. All we got to do is do these videos. What I'm doing right now, we call it, and we framed it that, a video epistle. Epistle is a letter. So I'm writing you a letter right now. Anyway, I went long. With that, I can keep going, but I'm going to stop right here. Maybe somebody can pick up on this. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom on to the next shalom.